Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. So on the docket for today, we have some quick hits from BILT and Mint. We will take a look at the CFPB on their crusade against junk fees, targeting banks, of course. And we have some American Express offer terms and condition changes in the Marriott line, and a new offer format American Express seems to be toying around with to take a look at. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, our quick hits to start off. BILT Rewards is adding a new travel partner. This go around, you're going to get Avianca. They are an airline. Their transfer, it's actually live now. If you're watching this now, it's live, so you can use them. It's a 1-to-1 transfer ratio, which is what you like to see. As you would imagine, I don't know much about them, so if you do have experience with them or know some sweet spot redemptions, definitely feel free to let folks know down below. But again, as I like to say, more options is always better, especially when it doesn't cost you anything. Now, in addition to that, our next quick hit is going to be Mint, so everyone's favorite budgeting app. It falls under the Intuit umbrella. Of course, they also own Credit Karma, so Mint is being sunset. It was scheduled to be sunset on January 1st, which is about a week away at this point, so that has been pushed out to March of 2024. So if you need some more time to mess around with learning a new budgeting app or transfer over your stuff, by all means, you have the time to do so now. So I also think they're probably trying to figure out how to build in some of those existing Mint features to Credit Karma, I would imagine, so you just don't lose all the budgeting, because Credit Karma really just seemed like a thing to sell people stuff, which is fine, because I found some good offers from there. So anyways, those are our quick hits. Now we get down into the good stuff. So the current administration we have has been on a crusade to target junk fees, I would say, for consumers, not just in banking, but, across the world, but across the spectrum. Of course, we care about banking. Well, the CFPB, so Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, seems to be part of this, looking into the financial side of it. And they've been targeting late payment fees for credit cards for quite some time now. And their whole thing is like, look, banks charge about $40, give or take, going from the CNBC article for late payments. And they're the math that the CFPB is doing, which I generally will trust the math on from them. They're saying, hey, look, consumers are paying about $12 billion each year in late payment fees. And they're also saying that late fees are about a $14.5 billion income stream for banks, which is kind of a weird way to describe late payment fees. So anyways, they want to take them down and cap them at just $8. And CFPB's argument is like, hey, we did the homework, we looked into it, and $8 is all you need to account for a late payment. So you're not losing money aside from the money the customer owes you, but you're also not making any money. You need $8, not $40 or $41, I think was the average. And of course, as you can imagine, banks aren't happy with this. And I think this is an interesting point of view, because on one hand, I guess I wouldn't really describe it as an income source, because I do think it ignores, the risk in lending, which sure is priced into the interest rate, but there also does need to be a little bit of incentive to get people to pay back. And $8 isn't really enough. If you're not going to pay your bill, or you're forgetful enough to pay your bill or whatever, an extra $8 not really going to put you into gear. $41, a little bit different. Could be more of an incentive. And banks are also required to set aside large sums of capital for projected losses. People who aren't going to pay are going to be charge-offs as well, so they do have a lot of their capital tied up just waiting for this stuff to happen. So I don't know that just calling it a revenue stream outright is probably the best descriptor of it. I get the CFPB's point, hey, you do charge a lot and all you really need is $8. I think this comes down to be one of those things that it'll make everyone feel good, because we save the consumer money. Consumers the consumer can save themselves money by just paying it back on time, like we agreed to in the card member agreement. So I don't have a ton of sympathy for this one. I think it'll just make everyone feel good because they targeted an obvious fee, but I do think they'd end up being fallout from this. Well, banks already don't love poor customers. They like sweet spot customers, or customers who are going to carry a balance but continue to pay. And so if I can't, to use their words, make money on this and de-risk a little bit, well, then maybe I just tighten up lending restrictions to certain groups, which is something we're always concerned about. Not everything is race-based, even if sometimes we like to make it. Sometimes it's really just about profitability. I think there's bigger things that we should be going after with banks. Like, it's always bothered me to no end that like a bank can simply close your account. That part's fine, but the fact that they can close your account with no communication, no documentation of when you'll actually get your money back, that really messes people up. So I would go after that, have them address that process before I just start charging these or targeting these late fees, which I know doesn't really do a whole lot for me personally, but again, I might be on the wrong side of it. You can feel free to let me know down below if I'm being too harsh, but I just think there's bigger things to go after, and I don't think this one sounds impactful, but to me, a late fee or a junk fee or a hidden fee is something that like we really don't have much control over as a consumer, and this one you have plenty of control over between just paying it on time, setting your calendar reminder, setting up auto pays, all of that. So, but again, let me know your thoughts down below. Now, kind of attaching onto this story, we have another one here from payments.com. It's a website I like that was sent to me about consumer credit cards balances being on the rise. So I'll put it on screen for you here. We can take a look at it. And it is interesting, so I'll just kind of read some stats from this if you don't mind. So this is from both American Express and Bank of America. Again, Bank of America, second biggest bank in the country. They saw credit card delinquencies climb last month. So according to recent Securities Commission's filings, Amex delinquency rate rose from 1.3 to 1.4. It's still below pre-pandemic levels. So Bank of America reported delinquencies for their MasterCard line increased from 1.37 to 1.4. So not like massive increases, but when you think about the scale of both of these banks, it is a little bit bigger than it sounds. So this year, Americans' credit card debt ballooned to $1.08 trillion, a trend driven by millennial consumers somehow. So that's according to figures released by last month's Federal Reserve Bank of New York, showing that credit card balances jumped $154 billion since 2022, the largest increase since the bank began tracking the data in 1999. So, seeing some stuff on the rise. These surveys are always a little bit hard because I don't know. I guess I could look into it a little bit more, but sometimes they track balances based off like your closing balance, right? So you still get that grace period to pay, that 3 weeks. And so on one hand, we've seen people push out a lot or try to sell a lot more cards. So I don't know that necessarily means like, hey, the delinquency part, yes, is bad, but the overall balances, it probably needs another level of explanation, I think, in there, like, because delinquencies, yes. So, again, I think it goes back to our first story where they're like, hey, we want to, lower the fees. But then if you look at this story, you have the bank saying, well, hey, look, it's clearly increasing. The Federal Reserve is even saying it's increasing. The ones we reported to in our earnings call are saying it's, increasing. And we're already, again, required to set aside so much capital to offset these losses. And you want to reduce my late payment fees. Well, we can see once it goes delinquent, you're not even really paying. It's close to a charge-off. So, again, that's why for this one fee, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Again, considering how much money they have to set aside just to cover this, and the fact that, I don't think we want to mess with the banks too much because I think they will always find, I'm positive they will always find a way to come out on top. Again, I think the current system works well enough now. Again, people are using the card. So, again, friendly reminder, as everyone here knows, just pay your bills. Pretty simple. So, there we go. If you're looking to contribute to this growing credit card usage spree that we've seen, well, then American Express, though, is going to make it a little bit harder for you. So first, we will take a look at the Marriott line, which now has new language that kind of mirrors the language of all the other cards. So Amex have been going through, looking at the family of cards and making it harder to get the bonuses. So you have to go in a specific order to get them, not just, go green, then platinum, then gold, for example. You'd have to go green, gold, platinum. You can't basically regress. So if we put this on screen here, the American Express Marriott Bonvoy Bevy card now contains lifetime language. So you may not be eligible to receive a welcome offer if you have or have had this card, the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant card, American Express card, or previous versions of these cards. So once again, we see them trying to, in my opinion, prevent backsliding, right? So, hey, I sold you the expensive one, which is like $650, but again, I don't want you to cancel it or whatever, or what have you, or apply for the other one because you can, with Marriott, with Hilton at least, you can have multiples of them, I think. Marriott is a little bit more uptight, but I think you could have multiples. So they're just preventing backsliding, which is always annoying. So if you're going to go progress through the Marriott line, again, just remember that not only do you have the one lane rule between Chase and Marriott, the order of operations, again, would matter here. Bevy first, which isn't really that good of a card, but you might as well get it if you want Marriott points, and then Brilliant versus the other way around. Again, these are changes they've made through the entire lineup. Now, the other one here, not necessarily news, but we haven't talked about it yet, is American Express seems to be playing around with variable offers, mystery offers, if you will, on some of their cards. I think it's green, gold, and platinum, which are their most popular cards. We put this example on screen for you here. You can see that it says the gold one, you can earn up to 90,000 membership reward points. Find out your welcome offer. If you are approved, you'll then have the option to accept the card and the offer. And then, of course, they have the platinum one below it, earn up to 150,000 membership reward points. So that is interesting. I don't yet know if this is like a massive deal yet, because not everything is malicious. They could be doing a number of different things, right? Because you do technically have to like apply for it, but you're not yet accepting the offer. So perhaps they're looking at people's financial. I don't know how this is going to go, because could they, obviously, yes, lower the amount of points, but could they also reduce the amount of spend? Because sometimes people look at these cards and like everyone wants the Amex cards, but people get turned off by the amount of spend you have to do to hit some of these. We've even seen the Amex and other issuers too, like extend out the runway you have to complete the spend. U.S. Bank does this better than anyone on their business cards. It's usually like 5 months, which is like more reasonable than 3. So, part of me says, could they be trying to make them, I'm going to say, almost dynamic offers based on like, okay, we can quickly size you up, which I presume is a soft pull before you actually accept it. And we can say, yeah, reasonably this person might be able to spend this much and not be scared off, or versus a larger spender. Or, of course, we can bring in our typical Amex rules that we're all used to and say classic, well, we won't do pop-up jail, maybe, because maybe you spend decent amount on the cards, but we don't love you as a customer, or you've gotten a few offers, so maybe we'll just give you the lowest offer we have. So, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, because, again, you can choose to accept it or not, which is fine. It does make it a little bit harder to go potentially do, I don't know if like the card match and Resi, things like that will get you around this. Again, we haven't seen this everywhere. Yeah, this is just in some places, some instances, and I've only really seen it reported on the main cards that they offer. The other ones seem unaffected, but those are usually have unimpressive offers anyway, so, like, of course, like, why even bother? So I could see it one of two ways, either trying to make things more, I guess it could do all of those in one. That would be my guess before I just outright say, how dare you, American Express? Because those are some things that I hear from people. Like, I would love to get this card, but I just can't hit the spend. Even here, part of the reason we've done the videos of taking your house out of escrow is to help hit these offers. Because, homeowners insurance, taxes and income taxes are just such large expenses, unfortunately. I've got like $5,000 charge sitting on my business gold card now from property taxes. So, that's what it takes. And not everyone has that, but people still want it. So I'll just say keep an eye on it and see how it goes, because again, it could also be blocking the way you just go through card match or incognito a million times. They know people do that to try to find the best offers. That's the nefarious side of it. They could also be doing that, which I wouldn't put it past them, because again, I think at one point American Express will just get to the part where they don't even want to offer anyone intro offers anymore. I could see that happening. It'd be hard, because intro offers still encourage you to use the card, which is what they want, but they clearly, with all these changes, they really don't want to be taking advantage of it anyway, which I get to a point, but it's just part of the game. But anyways, that has been the news for this Christmas Eve. So of course, this will be our last one before Christmas. So none of that happy holidays to you. Don't get offended, but Merry Christmas to all of you. Of course, if you would like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Of course, we're posting content just like this every single week, and right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on ProfitfulContent.com, where we have not only the latest news stories, we have bank promotions, and we have credit card offers. So if you're sick of Amex, go check out some Chase offers. We still have the Chase $900 offer for the ink cards and the Freedom Unlimited double cash offer, which are pretty good and a lot less fussy than these, but we do have Amex offers as well if you are so inclined. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, again, Merry Christmas to all of you out there, and we will see you very soon this week for the next one.